The movie opens in the city of New Orleans at night. A team of FBI agents, led by Special Agents George Aiken and Ray Santiago, search a street for Miles Jackson, an international terrorist. They examine several people on the street with facial recognition software. In the meantime, we get to know Danny Fisher, who works as a cop and lives with his girlfriend, Molly. Danny and his buddy, Hank, are out at night patrolling the city. At the same time, the FBI is still looking for Miles Jackson. They intend to apprehend him with the help of a man named Samuel, who works with the terrorist. Samuel promised to cooperate with the FBI in exchange for his brother's release. When Miles Jackson arrives to meet Samuel, the plot is wrecked when the latter discloses that the whole event was staged by the FBI. Samuel then shoots Miles in the chest and tells the FBI that if they release his brother, he'll give them Miles. Samuel loads Miles into a van and departs. As the FBI scrambles to apprehend them, it is discovered that Miles was wearing a bulletproof vest and that everything was part of the plan. Miles, however, ends up betraying Samuel and murdering him. Danny and Hank are instructed to keep an eye out for Miles Jackson. Miles arrives at his location, greets his girlfriend, and the two of them get into a car and drive away. While stopped at a light, Danny notices Miles' girlfriend and recognizes her from a video of Jackson that the FBI has.
We gotta stop that car. That's
such a waste of time.
Danny and Hank stop the vehicle. Everything appears to be in order, but Danny wants to inspect the car's trunk. They find out that Miles is hiding inside, and he starts shooting at the two officers. Hank is injured, but Danny starts chasing them on foot. He drops his gun while running and is unable to take it back. Despite the fact that he lacks a weapon, he continues to pursue them.
This just got...
He pushes a boat into the road, causing Miles' car to crash into it. Miles' girlfriend begins to flee, but is fatally struck by an approaching vehicle. After being detained, Miles Jackson threatens Danny that he will get his revenge.
Officer!
on the ground!
A year later, and we see Danny awakening. He is still dating Molly, but their relationship has some issues. While a plumber fixes problems in their home, Molly leaves the house to go to work. Soon after, Danny receives a phone call. The caller is Miles Jackson, who claims to have escaped prison and is spying on Danny and Molly. Danny flees his house just as Miles blows it up, with the plumber still inside. Jackson then informs Danny that this is round one, and that Danny took something from him that he will never be able to get back. Now Miles intends to do the same to him. Danny then goes to find Molly, who is about to board a boat. He fails to catch up with her in time and steals a car to pursue her. He phones Hank while driving and informs him of the situation. Danny finally arrives at the dock and meets up with Hank. When he dials Molly's number, Miles answers. The villain is with Molly and informs Danny that if he wants to see his girlfriend alive, he must play a game called 12 rounds. If Danny wins, he will reclaim Molly. The house and plumber were round one. The kidnapping round two. Miles informs Danny that in order to complete round three, he must locate a specific cell phone somewhere in the city, before Miles calls it in 15 minutes. Miles suggests they start looking for it at the place where they first met. Danny and Hank return to the location where they stopped Miles' car a year earlier. They come across spray painting on a structure with a latitude and longitude, which gives them a specific location. Danny realizes while driving that the coordinates lead to a fire station where his brother works. They arrive just as the 15-minute timer expires. Everyone is looking around, and they can hear a phone ringing at a nearby store. Danny responds, and Miles congratulates him on solving the challenge and gives him more time in the following round. Miles then informs him that for round 4, he must retrieve 2 deposit boxes from the burning New Orleans Savings and Loan Facility. The boxes are on the 3rd floor, and Danny has 20 minutes to finish this round. He enters the structure and begins climbing. Later, he discovers the 2 crates Miles told him about. The villain quickly calls him and informs him that round 5 has begun. One of the boxes contains a bomb, and the other contains a hint for the following round. Danny must arrive at Nickel Street in less than 7 minutes, or the bomb will detonate. Since it will take too long to descend the stairs, Danny decides to climb out the window using a roll of cable. He escapes the building, and with about 4 minutes remaining, he boards a fire truck and travels to Nickel Street. He nearly makes it when he notices a noise coming from one of the crates. Danny realizes which one is the bomb and throws it into the river. The round 6 clue is in the other box, and Miles informs him that if he can figure it out, he might be able to see his girlfriend. The FBI gives Danny a new phone while the box is being opened. They inform him that if he can keep Miles on the line for 30 seconds, they will be able to locate him. They open the box, and inside discover a key card to the Monteleone Hotel. Danny and the FBI go over there and access the chamber for which the key card is intended. Inside the hotel room, Danny discovers photos of Molly bound to the bed. The FBI examines the security camera footage and notices Miles. The villain holds a sign in his hands that reads, "We are still here." They also notice Miles talking to a hotel employee. Danny finds the employee, Willie, who shows him the place to which he led Miles, an ancient elevator leading to the roof of the hotel. Danny and Willie ride the elevator until it is stopped by a minor charge. They try to call for help and discover a little laptop with a video of Molly reading a message from Miles. She informs Danny and Willie that the elevator will crash in 60 seconds and that only one of them will survive. The timer starts, and Danny opens the hatchet to reach the elevator's roof. He also helps in getting Willie out, although it is not that simple. He grabs the side of the elevator shaft and extends his arm to the man. But the timer runs out, and Willie falls to his death. Danny arrives safely. Then Miles calls. The FBI requests that Danny keep Miles on the phone for 30 seconds. Danny responds, but Miles realizes what they're doing and hangs up before the FBI can locate him. Miles calls again and warns Danny not to try to trace his calls. He also discloses that the answer to round 7 may be found in the hotel foyer, in the form of a photograph of a lonely man. Danny discovers the clue in a note that says Claiborne and Toulouse, the names of 2 streets in the city. Miles phones him again and instructs him to travel to the spot by himself. He agrees and proceeds to the intersection of the 2 streets. He notices a bus with the number 5050 and thinks that's where he wants him to go. When he is on the bus, he notices Molly, but she has a bomb strapped to her body. Miles, who is also aboard the bus, tells Danny and Molly to approach him. He handcuffs Danny to the bus and tells him that all he needs to do for round 7 is let Miles walk away. The villain also has a device that will kill Molly and everyone on the bus if his finger is not on it. He also gives Danny an envelope containing a hint for the upcoming round. At the same moment, Danny receives word through his earpiece that the FBI intends to snipe Miles. So, Danny grabs Miles and Molly to prevent the sniper from killing him. After that, Miles and Molly flee when the bus stops. The FBI arrives and releases Danny from his handcuffs. While recovering, Danny runs into Hank, who informs him that he discovered a man named Anthony DeLisso, who helped Miles in kidnapping Molly. While Hank searches for DeLisso, the protagonist begins round 8. Miles gave Danny an envelope that contains 5 phone numbers. 4 of the numbers are linked to bombs that will detonate when called, but 1 number will disarm them all. Danny has 60 seconds to dial the correct number. He and an FBI agent attempt to crack the code but run out of time, so Danny dials a random number. Miles responds, telling Danny that he made the wrong choice and that the brakes on the streetcar have now been disabled. The 9th round has begun. Danny must stop the streetcar before it collides with a crowd of people. While Danny and the FBI agent drive to the streetcar, Hank discovers and begins following Anthony DeLisso. When they arrive, Danny maneuvers his vehicle in front of the fleeing streetcar. He then exits and climbs to the top of the streetcar.
Didn't work.
He attempts to break the rod that powers the streetcar, but it fails. Danny returns to his car and crashes into a power transformer, slowing down the streetcar. But it's still moving too quickly, so he dashes to clear people out of the way just as the streetcar collides. Miles calls Danny to inform him that Hank will face Anthony DeLisso in round 10. And as for round 11, Miles will take care of Hank. When Danny attempts to call Hank, the call goes to voicemail. Hank follows DeLisso to a place of work, but falls into the trap. DeLisso has Hank at gunpoint, but then he finds out that Miles has betrayed him, and an explosion occurs, killing both DeLisso and Hank.
Be on the phone. I'm trying to get you a straight answer, but nobody.
Danny is devastated by the news. Miles phones him to inform that round 12 has begun. In the last round, Danny only needs to find his girlfriend. She carries a bomb that can only be deactivated with Danny's fingerprint. Miles also advises Danny to pay a visit to his own dead girlfriend to apologize. Danny and the FBI agents drive to the cemetery to visit Miles' girlfriend's grave. On the way, Danny receives a call from another investigator who claims that everything is not adding up. The detective established that the streetcar bomb was associated with all 5 phone lines. The hotel elevator also crashed 5 seconds earlier. Danny then finds out that the hotel employee, Willie, was fated to die. The puzzle pieces begin to fall into place, and Danny and the agents realize that this was never about vengeance. It was all about the money. On the side, Willie worked as a security guard for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Miles entered using Willie's ID card and posed as a guard. He then snatched $100 million and flushed it down the toilet. He then sucked out the money with the fire truck Danny had used before. All of the other rounds were designed to be a diversion. Danny realizes Miles' true plan when he finds that Molly isn't at the graveyard. She's still with Miles. The villain walks to the hospital where Molly works, carrying the money in a bag. He gains access to the hospital's roof using Molly and her ID card. His goal is to escape in a helicopter piloted by her. Danny arrives at the top of the hospital, just as Miles and Molly leave. Danny sprints and jumps onto the helicopter. The villain attempts to kill him, but he fights back. The two begin shooting in the helicopter, causing damage to it. Danny finally has the upper hand, but the helicopter is about to crash. Molly attempts to land, but Miles grabs the bomb and detonates it. Danny grabs his girlfriend and jumps into a pool on top of a nearby building, with 30 seconds left before the helicopter explodes. They land safely, killing Miles Jackson. Danny and Molly kiss when they realize they have made it and can be together again.